Donald Trump is out with a new video going after Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton. Instagram shows Hillary Clinton with Bill Cosby and Anthony Weiner. Well, Trump introduced it by tweeting out the message, "Hillary and her friends." Take a look.
Women's rights are human rights, and human rights are women's rights once and for all. Let's keep fighting for opportunity and dignity.
Our old CBSN producer and now digital journalist on the campaign trail with Mr. Trump, Sopan Deb joins us by Skype.
You guys forgot my name already?
I'm going to blame it on the prompter. So listen, Sopan, Trump is heading into the final sprint in Iowa where he is behind Ted Cruz. Why go after Hillary now?
Well, so the Instagram video is interesting. It overlays Anthony Weiner, who is married to a key Hillary Clinton aide. It has a picture of Bill Cosby in there with Hillary Clinton, which is a not so subtle reference to Cosby's sexual assault, arrest, and likening that to allegations about Bill Clinton. And Trump earlier this week in an interview said, Cosby and Clinton situation can definitely be linked. This is the thing with Trump, is that his supporters love him for this. It's another example of Trump saying what they think are politically incorrect truths. But something to keep in mind here is that Trump may be calling Bill Clinton, a great abuser of women now, but that didn't stop him from inviting the Clintons to his wedding in the past. It didn't stop him from donating money to the Clinton Foundation in the past. It didn't stop him from saying in the past that Clinton impeachment was kind of a non-factor. This is just, this is an example of, Trump. What are we talking about right now? We're talking about Trump's Instagram video. So it's, it's a way for him to get headlines. And, why go after Hillary? Because she's the front runner on the Democratic side. And it's a way for him to say, well, I'm going to be able to take her on. I'm going to take her on in a, in a very direct way.
So, Pan, let's move on to this birther issue that is now in the headlines. We see fellow Senator John McCain now chiming in on this, saying it is worth looking into. By him adding his comment in the mix, does that give it more legs?
Maybe. I mean, it's an open question, right? And what's interesting is that there's a GOP debate next week, and I'm sure this will come up, and it'll be interesting to see how Trump reacts. And one thing to note, is Trump is much less confrontational at debates than he is at rallies or on television or on Twitter. And, and how this will play out is, a little bit like predicting, is a little bit like trying to hit a knuckleball. And I've used this analogy before as someone who has struck out many times playing Little League. You have no idea where this is going to go. And you talk to his supporters, and what's interesting is many of them love Trump, but they also love Cruz. So this will be interesting to see how this plays out. And when you talk to his supporters, they love him for really three reasons. That he's not a politician, which means he's not politically correct. And so those same supporters give him a lot of slack, right? And two, they think he's self-funding his campaign, which he's, really not. And they think, the final thing is, they think that he is saying what a lot of people are thinking but are afraid to say. And whether this Ted Cruz thing falls under that is an open question, and we're going to find out as more polls start coming out in the next couple weeks.
So if you're also traveling with Ted Cruz in Iowa, there are just, as you know, 25 days until the caucuses. How does Senator Cruz plan to outmaneuver Trump other than just posting that video of the fawns jumping over the shark?
Again, an open question, because with Trump, there is the rules are different, right? So, so far the strategy for Cruz has been not to give it any oxygen whatsoever, not to respond, just keep running his own campaign. Now, as more headlines come out about it, as more people talk about it, now John McCain has weighed in. Rand Paul yesterday said that, he doesn't know about whether this is an issue for Cruz or not. As more people start talking about it, Ted Cruz may be forced to respond, but so far he hasn't given it any oxygen, so whether that actually happens or not is an open question, and we're going to see that in the next couple weeks.
So before we let you go, I got to ask you, I mean, the role of digital journalists on the campaign trail is one that has a very long history at CBS News, going back to Bob Schieffer and some of the legendary reporters here. When you were assigned Ted Cruz and Donald Trump, I think you thought you were probably going to be doing a lot of focus on Mr. Cruz, and all of a sudden now Trump is the front runner. Now you've got the two main guys in the GOP neck and neck. What's been your experience?
I'll tell you what, I was at a rally in Sarasota, Florida in November, and I showed up and there was an elephant roaming the grounds out front. And then
A real elephant, you mean, right? A real elephant.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, a live elephant with "Make America Great" painted on the side. And then I was also at a rally, at a Las Vegas rally in a Treasure Island casino, and a guy shows up, a professional Donald Trump impersonator. And he does that for a living. That's how he makes his money. And just to give you an idea of the media spectacle surrounding Donald Trump is that he actually held a press conference because a lot of reporters were like, well, if we can't have a real thing, we'll take the impersonator. And that kind of tells you everything you need to know about covering this campaign. It's a much different experience than I think I ever thought it would be.
And is it true? So give us also, because this is so interesting for us, there have been a lot of reports in the print media about how Mr. Trump and his campaign people treat reporters. What's that like? I mean, just give us a flavor. Are you guys penned up and not really able to go where you want to go, or is it a little bit easier for you to have access to the different people that come to those rallies and to Mr. Trump himself?
Well, I will say that Donald Trump, his rallies are very much like concerts, kind of like the Allman Brothers. They're jams, and he has his greatest hits. When he talks about repealing and replacing Obamacare, that's like his Born to Run. One of his big applause lines is talking about how dishonest the media is, and so that's his supporters agree with him, and that's and so he's able to stoke that a lot and get applause out of that. So there's no question, he is able to use the anti-media angle to great effect, against reporters. But for someone who doesn't like reporters, he's on TV quite a bit and gives a lot of interviews. So I would say that some of that is just bluster, but that's just a reality of covering Mr. Trump.
Sopan Deb on the campaign trail. Sorry for my dyslexia earlier, my man. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you.
See you later, Sopan.